Is this horizontal to you guys? Because having technical difficulties, which kind of sucks. Okay, cool. I think we're good. Let's see. All right, St. Charles has confirmed on YouTube that we are horizontal. Thank you. All right. Hello everyone, this is Domina Mara and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a live stream with a few new things, including kind of a, it's not really a flogging tutorial, but I'm just gonna practice while I answer questions and chat with all my fans. I'm streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah, hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. I did take a poll this past week, and everybody kind of voted for flogging, so we're doing it today. So as you guys can see, a flogger is made of, it's a type of whip. It's made of a dowel and a ball on top that's kind of shaved off so that there's a flat piece. Some floggers have like something to hang them with because you don't want them like scrunched up in your bag. It just leaves for permanent marks even with real leather. This is in fact real leather, and if you guys can see through the handles, it is nicely braided, very taut against the dowel. I guess there's two balls on each side, kind of like doll heads, and good ones. Here, I'll just do it this way. Good floggers are perfectly weighted, like so. You're able to balance them at one of the ends, usually it's the one with the tails, like this on your finger. St. Charles is asking, how did single tails come out in the poll? 0. It wasn't one of the options and nobody commented on it, so nobody asked. Therefore, it's not happening. Nate says, hi Domino, with a red heart. Hello Nate, welcome to the stream. Hope you are all having a fantastic weekend. It's a little overcast here in the City of Angels, but you know, that's what you have me for. I am your sunshine, your ray of sunshine. So, just going over my floggers. Every time I request one to be made or have a sub or a fetishist purchase one for me, I always request 2. And the reason I request 2 is because, well, multiple reasons. First reason, I don't want to just be good on one hand. I am right hand dominant, but although I can't brush my teeth very well with my left hand, I try sometimes because I don't want my left hand to be obsolete. I have 2 hands for a reason. I'm going to use both of them. Also, it's just better form for any professional to be able to use both their hands. That goes for anything. Cooking, cleaning, you name it. Same with like people who do sports with 2 feet, like rollerblading, roller skating, skiing. You don't just want to have one good leg. You want to have 2 strong legs and very capable feet in order to do your sport. Nate says, you are the light from darkness. Well, well, you can both, but great, nice, hot ways. Hehe, red heart. You might want to rewrite your sentence next time because I don't know what you just said, but I think I got the feel for it. And then I'm just gonna call you Togushi because that's the only one I can pronounce. says, try with gloves, please, miss, with a red heart. If you'd like to tip me, you can do so by clicking that link that is pinned at the top of the chat, titled Tip Jar on YouTube. And if you send me a little something, I will gladly take requests, such as the gloves. And I have really cool gloves to go with this. Or I can also just pick Nate's, because Nate's has been a very popular glove gift for this past 6 months or whenever, 5 months. Graham says, greetings, ma'am. You look magnificent as always. Red heart. Thank you, Graham. Welcome to the stream. Vladdy Daddy. Oh my God, my eyes are not great. Okay. Vladdy Daddy says, 2 is better than 1. I think you're referring to a lot of things when you say that, but I agree. St. Charles says, cooking, cleaning, whipping. It also exercises the right side of your brain. That is correct. Thank you for bringing that up. So we are wired with, left brain, right hand, right brain, left. There's like a crisscrossing thing that goes on. But additionally, left brain is more logical, right brain is more creative. I'm highly right brain oriented, but I have a lot of, logics to go with my whole entity. So that is also strengthening and conditioning, which is fantastic. Celine says, hello. Hello, Celine. Nice to see you here. Frusty says, hello, Miss Mara, or Mistress Mara. Hello, Frusty. Welcome to the stream. St. Charles says, gloves are so hot. So effing hot. Gotta be a little bit prude for the platform. Nate says, sorry for the typo. I was distracted and had to type it quick. I meant to say you are the light from darkness. Well, you can be both, but in nice, hot ways. Thank you, Nate. Celine says, I'm here, finally. Welcome. Reconstructed Beauty says, hello, Miss Mara. Question, what is your favorite corporal punishment implement? I'm holding it. Floggers are my favorite. If you guys know your implements, a crop is like a riding crop, which you can use for equestrian. It was originally made for horses, right? For racing, for polo, for all that kind of stuff. However, and because it's like a wand, basically with a little thing at the end, it's like one of the easiest implements to use. That was actually the hardest implement for me to pick up, surprisingly, because I didn't want to hit, okay, let me just show it to you guys, because okay, so this is a riding crop, right? Made for horses, right? Okay. There's a little part at the end of this, which is the part of the stick, and you never want to hit somebody with it because it hurts and can break skin, and it's just not good practice. You're supposed to aim with this tiny part at the top. Well, I was too scared in the beginning that I wasn't going to hit somebody properly because of this little nub of the stick. So I would just go lightly, or I would miss kind of intentionally to try to compensate for not hitting them with this part. But I got floggers instantly. So that's that backstory. And then canes just hurt a lot, and not a lot of people who are not masochists can take that kind of pain. So I like floggers because it's still a whip, type of whip, but it's very thuddy, or it can be thuddy and sensual. Everything has to do with the materials and the cut and the strength behind it. how many tails it has, etc., etc. So that's why I like floggers. That was a really long-winded answer, but I hope that does answer the question. Will Sean Benjamin says, a little late to the party, but what is flogging? That is an excellent, excellent question. So I kind of went over a little bit about the anatomy of a flogger. There's no right amount of tails, there's no right size. But speaking of size, you do want something that you yourself can handle, that is proportionate to you. So my hand can fit on this handle like so, right? I get a good grip of it. It's not too heavy. I can literally swing it around no problem. So floggers are a type of whip. You want, and with any type of whip, with any type of implement, you want control, because that is how you stay safe. Without the control behind it, and I'm not just talking about power, that's psychology. I'm talking about physical control. If you don't have control over your implements, you are not going to be able to safely dish out whatever you need to in safe places, because you can't just hit anywhere on the body. You need to be able to hit on the safe zones. St. Charles says, gloves are so EFFing hot. Yes, I agree. I love them very much as well. Mark has 2 red hearts, a hearts emoji, this, and a smiley face. I'm just going to say, how is your afternoon been? I hope I had a good afternoon. Oh, thanks. I hope you did too. Welcome to the stream, Mark. St. Charles says, my vote is for the dressage whip / rod. I don't know what you mean, St. Charles. We're doing flogging today, though. That has already been decided. Graham says, it's a very interesting perspective on the crop, ma'am. Thank you, with the red heart. You're welcome. Will Sean says, thank you for the description. Good question. Keep them coming. Okay. So, I guess, well, I've never counted the tails on this one, so we can go ahead and do that. There's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so there's 20 tails on this one. Never knew that before, because I don't buy floggers, or I don't select floggers by their tail count. I really don't, that doesn't matter to me. As long as it feels good to me, it looks good, or I can trust the maker because they are a reputable brand. So that's kind of the basis for how I choose my own floggers. And then both of these actually have angled tips. If you can see that, that means it's gonna be stingy if I hit people in a certain way with it. If I just do light taps like this, no problem. It's thuddy, you get most of the brunt here on the leather. It feels, akin to a spanking, let's just say. Lil Sean says, what's the most intense flogging story you have? Ooh, that's also a good question. Probably when so if you guys don't know what CBT is, look it up. But I like torturing guys on their jewels. And so one of my favorite things to do is line up clothespins there and try to flick it off with my flogger or my riding crop. That's a standard, very common thing that I do, and probably other mistresses do as well. So And then, you know, I have a pretty strong arm, so I can mark a lot of my subs on the back, since the back has the most real estate of skin and safe area to impact. And yeah, he had lashes for like, you know, a good couple of days, but they're not permanent. Most of the time, my marks, unless somebody asks me specifically to mark them and they're an experienced sub, I usually don't. The marks that I give people during session fade in like a couple hours. So that's if they're like super masochistic and like they don't have to worry about not having marks later on, you know. So yeah. Alrighty, as we go and move forward in this stuff. So the way that you want to hold it, for me, I hold it in different ways depending on how I want to, you know, impact somebody. But I actually don't grip it like this. Like, you're not doing a lightsaber show, okay? You're not like going to bat, you know, at a baseball game. You are actually I hold it very light, actually. And I can hold it in multiple ways. I hold it, you know, like this, but very light. You see, I can still move my fingers. Or you can hold it between your second and middle finger, which is almost kind of like a cigarette if you smoke. I don't, but you know, that's kind of what I feel like I can relate to visually. Some people like to hold it by the ball, with the string, which is the furthest from the tails. This kind of gives you a little bit more velocity while you're, you know, using your wrist. And then, what else? I think that's pretty much it. Depending on the size of your flogger, and this is like super rare, some people have like extra long ones where they have like almost half a kind of like half a baseball bat's worth of like handle. And that one you need to hold with two hands because their tails are super long, like twice as long as this, and maybe twice as thick as well. And those are for like impacting multiple subs at the same time, or a bigger person, or there's a number of reasons why they would want something. And I've actually had the opportunity to try one out. That stuff is heavy, so you actually, like, for somebody with my stature who was shorter than the person who owned that, it took most of my effort to like swing that thing to make it actually hit properly. So you have to think about that too. It's like size, shape, they do matter. Size, shape of the person who's hitting matters, and then size, shape of the person so the person who's being impacted and the person who's impacting both matter. Will Sean says, have you ever teamed up with another mistress to have a flogging session for a beginner sub such as myself? What are some tips for the session and aftercare? So I have, obviously, double dommed with somebody else. Actually, I double dommed with men too. So like there's a male dom who allows me to play with his female sub. And we had an awesome time, like alternating between both of us who would flog first from one side to another. I've obviously, I actually have clips on my clip store, iwantmara.com, of me and other mistresses kind of, you know, impacting their subs. So go check those out. As for beginners, some tips, honestly, is just like knowing where the safe zones are. And you can Google that. There's so many anatomy charts that people are like, hey, these are the spots you should hit and these are the parts that you should not hit. AKA, don't hit the tailbone because you don't want to fracture that because that would be very bad. You don't want to hit the kidneys, you know. So just be aware of like safety. And if the dom is good, they will guide you. Like if you're going to be against, you know, furniture, maybe they'll tell you to arch your back and stick your butt out, stuff like that, depending on where they want to hit. So you need to think about that. Aftercare is something totally different, and that is on the sub to request that and say that that is something they need, because not every sub wants that, and not all DOMs give that. Reconstructed Beauty says, ouch, in all caps, with a laughing face times 3. Nate says, I've never heard of that before. The back is the best real estate, lol. It is. And also, if I had my tentacle, which you guys have seen my product review for, you guys would know that my tentacle, that would be the best place for my tentacle to gush out the goo, if you know what I mean, because there's so much real estate. Graham says, my Jamaican friend was very proud of a bruise she inflicted on a certain extremity of mine once. A happy but painful memory. Smiley face. Exactly. It might be painful, but you're going to remember it for a very long time. I didn't ask says, a very beautiful mistress. I love you. Thanks for joining. Happy Saturday. Frosty says, it's possible to see gloves, mistress, for practice. As I mentioned before, if you want to see a certain something, me in certain heels, because right now I'm barefoot, or me in leather gloves while I do this, go ahead and send me a nice tip through the tip jar at the top of the chat. Okay, so we haven't even gotten to like technique yet. I've just been chatting with you guys, which is totally fine. That's what this is for, but it's just funny because I was just like, in my head, I was thinking like, oh, practice isn't going to be very long because, I mean, are you just going to watch me flick this thing around for like an hour? Probably not. But this is good because now we're going to integrate a little bit of background, like education, and a little bit of technique, and I will still continue to answer questions. Okay. Mauricio says, happy Saturday, Miss Mara. Happy Saturday to you as well. Okay, so the most basic, I guess, technique that you can learn is literally holding the tails all in one hand, making sure they're all even. You want them even so that you can strike evenly. You don't want to be all like loosey-goosey because like this right here. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. Here, let me make it like exaggerated. Oh no, now my hair's in the way. Okay, yeah. You don't want your hair in the way either. Okay, you see how my thumb is like inside of the tails? Yeah, don't do that. Because it's going to catch and you're going to end up missing your target or you're going to hurt yourself. So make sure you grab all of the tails together. Take your time too. If you're the Dom, your sub is going to be there anticipating this the whole time. Like, there's no rush. I'm sure you want to punish them or you want to inflict something on them, but there is absolutely no rush. You pace the whole scene. So take your time if you're new. You're gonna take the tails in one hand. I'm right hand dominant, so I will take the flogger in this hand. And you literally aim for your target and you flick with the wrist of your dominant hand. And there you go. That's step number 1. You can just practice this on a pillow tied to a chair. I've used stuffed animals before as target practice when I had nobody around when I was first starting out. So, Graham says, Mistress is so right. CP is always a memorable experience. Smiling face. Okay, somebody on Twitch says, okay, nothing. All right. And then, of course, you got to practice it with your left, too. I would say if you're first starting out, always do your dominant hand first so that your brain can start to get to know the get to memorize the muscle, right? The muscle gesture. So if you guys are following my Goddess Mara channel on YouTube, I recently posted a video that said 1,000 is not enough. I just picked up another like toy, if you will, to flow with. And like in martial arts and cooking, again, in anything that you do as a profession, 100 times, 1,000 times, even 10,000 times is probably the amount of times that you would get to do something. And if you do it well and consistently, that's when you're going to actually start to be able to master something. So 1,000 times is nothing. If I did this 1,000 times, I'll get competent at it, sure. But the more you do something, the better you get at it. That's just how life is. However, you don't want to ever have bad habits. And that is something where you're going to need to learn from. So impact play like this, you always want to have either a mentor who has done this before, played for a very long time, or somebody who has been in the profession who is very reputable. I was able to learn from a house, which is where I started, but that didn't stop me from taking classes. I learned a bunch from different people all around the city. And then, I went to a lot of events where people also, just taught or demoed. If I had any questions, I asked. But everybody has like a different style they throw in there after they've been doing it for some time. And so it's just cool to watch other people, even though you are experienced, because you'll pick up like different things that people do. So that's some feedback. And then, hang on. Okay. All right. Alex says, looks great, mistress. Happy Saturday to you as well. Okay, so that's like the first thing. So once you start getting comfortable with, your right side, you want to do your left, or vice versa. If you are left-handed, you want to try doing right. I'm actually going to aim, so on camera, I'm actually going to aim for the camera, but I'm far enough away that it's not going to reach. And you guys can kind of see where I'm hitting. And it should be in the same location just about every single time. With 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters off per strike. Alex says, happy Saturday to you, mistress. Thank you. All right, so that's like technique number 1. Technique number 2 is super simple as well. You literally are gonna do a figure 8. And for this one, I actually don't tend to hold my flogger like I did for here. I actually like to hold it, like I mentioned earlier, between the fingers, 2nd and 3rd finger, the pointer and the middle finger. I like to hold it by the ball at the top, and I literally just let the flogger do the work for me. I started out by moving my wrist, and then the tails follow, and this is super easy. Super basic. I'm going forward, and you're literally just drawing a sideways figure 8 or an infinity sign. Graham says, very precise, ma'am, thumbs up. Have to be. All right, And then, as I mentioned earlier, whatever you do on the right, you also must do on the left. Ooh, I can see that my wrist hasn't been like functioning as well. It's weaker. My left side is weaker, and I can tell. But yes. And you do this 1,000 times. Every day for 10 days, and then you'll hit 10,000. All right. So that's the figure 8. Let's see. Oh, speaking of this, when I have a sub in front of me and, you know, I want to transition from a figure 8, that's another thing. You don't just want to stop. Like, if you're performing, that looks ugly. That just doesn't look good. So you don't want to just drop your hand and just be like, okay, I'm done flogging. Like, if you start getting tired, you know, you have pacing, right? You want to slow down, you want to ramp it up, but you want to slow it down a little bit, not just for the looks, but also for your sub. You don't want them to be like, oh, it's like a lot of hard ones, and then it just stops right there. Like, you want to ease them in, ease them out. I mean, that's what I like to do anyway. However, for some transitions, if I have, here, I'll face this way. If I have my sub over there, right, and I'm facing them, sometimes I'll use the circular motion. Again, same fingers by the ball, and I'll just go like this, or hit their butt cheek this way, you know, nice light downward motion. And you can see my wrist, it's going, or like here, I'm holding it by the strap now that you used to hang. My wrist doesn't change. You can hold it like this. Some floggers have loops for your fingers. They're called finger floggers, instead of the ball. Same concept. And my wrist isn't doing anything. Like, I'm not going at it. I'm literally letting the flogger take, you know, itself in this revolution. So, back to the ball. You can see that my wrist doesn't move, right? I can move it forward. I can move it backward. But my wrist doesn't really like move up and down because I've already established where my sub is. I don't need to really, unless they're moving, I don't need to move this. Yeah, that's kind of like a basic rule of thumb for me. Alex says, I haven't been flogged before. Oh, I have been flogged before. It was quite nice, mistress. Yeah, I love flogging. And that's the thing, it could be really, really harsh, or it could be very, very smooth and nice. Up to the person who's dishing it out. So, let's see. Oh, okay. So that's another thing. A lot of people like to go forward, right? This is going forward because I'm going in a down. Same with the figure 8. This is forward because I'm leading with my thumb and I'm going down, 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 down. Well, just like anything else, you can go in reverse. What does that mean? It means you go up. The opposite of down is up. So once you get good at down, go up. And this, instead of, you know, tapping at the butt cheek this way, right? You're going this way, which gives a totally different feel to the sub. And it shows that you can do both. You're a master at both. And of course, what you do on one side, you must do on the other side. So you also need to be able to do this on your non-dominant hand. And see how I'm like, when I do either down or up, the floggers aren't even hitting me. The tails can graze me here and there a little bit, that's no problem. They're literally on either side of me because I know exactly how far, how hard to keep a constant rhythm, you know, and the best way to practice this is actually with music because you can hear the beat. So let's use this song as a point of reference. 1, 2. It's a little fast, but you can do this with any song, right? One, two, 1, 2. And you can practice this to music. I love practicing this to music. And up. If you're not that experienced, your wrist is gonna hurt and your arm's gonna be like, oh my gosh. But that's good because you're building muscle, you're building memory, muscle memory. Yeah, have fun with it. Don't feel like you need to be an expert at it just at once, just because, oh, it should be easy. I should be able to make a figure 8. It's not that easy, and it's not easy at first all the time for everybody. So take it at your own pace, and you know, the whole point is to have fun. Sure, you want to look cool, but you also want to be safe. And to be safe, you kind of have to take it slow and make sure that you're using the right methods, you're hitting the right areas, etc., etc. And then, let's see, what are we doing on time? Okay, we're over 30 minutes, that's okay. All right, I think that's kind of all. Oh, Graham says quite hypnotic. Yeah, it kind of is. I was gonna do another thing. Oh, some people, they like bring their flogger around their neck, especially if they're low. So say like I'm kneeling and I have a sub right here in front of me. Some people will, to get a very even horizontal, you know, I guess, impact on the buttocks. Some people like to grip the flogger like this so that their wrist or their pinky is touching the end ball. Put it around their, you know, neck, and then they'll just go from the side. I don't really like this method. I've seen it done before and some very awesome professional people doing it. It's fine if you know what you're doing. You just need to make sure it doesn't wrap. These tails, like I said, are super, 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 super stingy if impacted very hard and fast. You don't, like, I would never want these to wrap on the side, on the hip of a sub. So if you see at an event somebody playing, or like at a club or whatever, when clubs open back up, that they have lashes like over here, that's not good. And the dom doesn't know what they're doing. Because even though they might be even on the side, you never want it to wrap like that. First of all, it's hitting your joints. Second of all, it's just not safe because the area that you're supposed to impact is the part that has the meat, not on the bone. And then on top of that, like I said, it's a joint. You need your hips, right? And there's a bunch of like connective tissue of like nerves and stuff there. It's just all bad. You don't want that. So very important to look at your anatomy so that you know what you're doing and your sub isn't like, ow, that hurts in a way that it's not supposed to hurt. So Jose says, saludos, preciosa, hola, bienvenidos. Este sábado. Okay, so let's see. I guess we could go straight to two-hand. Who in the audience, since I'm live streaming this, who knows what two-handed flogging is called? Anybody? There's a nice term for it. Almost sounds Italian. Kind of. There's a city in Italy that starts out the same way. Anyone want to take guesses? Any guess? A lot of you are asking me to wear leather gloves, and nobody is tipping. So, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Random driver says, I have no idea what it would be. Okay, since all of you are very, very slow on this one, or might not know the technical term, it's called Florentining. The Italy reference was for Florence, but, you know, I don't think any of those have anything to do with it. Graham says, I give up. Red heart. Okay. So yeah, Florentining is literally just the use of both hands. And this, I actually picked it up super quick because when I was learning floggers, because I got the concept of the figure eight down. The basic practice for this is that both hands are doing the figure eight, just alternating at different times. So if you're right-handed, like me, I start with my right hand to begin the actual flogging, right? So it will look something like this. I will push the right arm down first, since it is my dominant hand, come up with my left, and since my right is underneath and has nowhere to go, it's gonna go back, right? Back up. So you're literally just doing two figure eights, and it should look something like this. And even though I'm right hand dominant, my preferred way to do forward flogging is actually as you can see, my left hand, this one, is on top the whole time. So there it is, right? Cool. Graham says Florentine. Don't remember that in E.M. Forster. I don't really get your reference, but okay. Random driver says, all my floggers are really different to another. I need a pair of identical floggers so I can try this. It looks really cool. Yeah, so these are literally made, these are two of the same flogger. I requested it to be made by the same maker, so it's gonna be, you know, same length. I think both of them should have 20. This is the one that I haven't counted yet, so let's check to see if they actually made it with 20 tails, because I counted the other one, and they made it with 20, so let's just check. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, whoa, okay, 18, 20. Yeah, so both of these have 20 tails. They both weigh pretty much the same. I feel like this one almost is a little lighter, but that could also just be my right hand being dominant. They both should weigh on the edges of the fingers. They both do, so that's good. They're both weighted evenly. Yeah, I have other floggers too that are different sizes, lengths. I even have one flogger that is like alternating suede with leather. So I had like a metallic leather and then a suede, and even those feel super different. So that's kind of what I like about floggers, is like you can literally weave different materials together. You can flog with a short and a long, you know, flogger at the same time to give a different feel. I have done like a fur flogger, so it's like all fuzzy and like no pain at all, with, you know, a leather one like this at the same time to really get different textures. So yeah, be creative. That's kind of the beauty of all of this, is that you get to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, you know, within the safety zones, of course, and guidelines. Alex says, I think I've seen that once before. Daniel says, I can't believe you only have 21 likes. A lot of people wanted a flogging practice video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. This is a great time for me to say that, so that other people can learn about this, because I'm giving very valuable information that usually people probably have to pay to, you know, educate themselves with. Shadow Plays says, hi, I'm back. Well, welcome back. Graham says, oh, I was thinking of Forrester's A Room with a View, set in Italy, a cozy period drama which would have been greatly improved by some Florentining. Yes, I agree. Never seen it. I've seen Hitchcock's film A Room with a View. I think he's got something of a similar name. That was a good movie. It has Jimmy Stewart in it. Alex says, I've seen a rope flogger before. I have braided floggers. So the tails are actually braided in like leather, and then at the end they have like these flower petal type of, it's knotted at the end. And that one's kind of more like a cat o' nine tails. There's different types of names for different types of whips, so yeah. Have fun doing your research. Okay, what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, so you know how I was doing this earlier? For those who are new, I'm just going through techniques and how this wrist doesn't move. Well, you can do that with both of them. Both hands, of course. Actually, I'm going to hold one. So I'm going to hold my right hand with the two fingers, middle finger and the pointer, index finger on this right hand. And then with this one, I'm actually going to grip it like this so you can see the difference on both. So this is definitely a way that you can impact somebody as well. You can vary the different, you know, here. Now I'm gonna actually hold them at the same time because timing is not great, but you can do different, you know, paces with them, and of course backwards. Remember how we said forward is down? You want to be able to do this backwards as well. And so to do that, again, I'm right hand dominant, so I start with my right. That is backwards. Or in reverse, I should say. Reversed. Oh, my arms are getting tired. I don't think I've flogged someone for this long for a while, so. I actually flogged somebody earlier this month, but yeah. Not this long. Daniel says, will you try a whip in the future? I can, if that is a ballot that I post in the future. Yes. I have bull whips, dragon tails, so single tails. Kent says, did YouTube tipping go away? Right now I'm doing the tip jar through the top of the chat. If you look at the pinned, I was gonna say tweet. If you look at the pinned chat at the top of this box, Kent, you'll see me saying tip jar. Just click on that and you can tip me directly, and that way I actually get 100%. But thank you for asking. Alex says, don't overdo it, mistress. This brings a good point. Thank you, Alex. That if you're tired and you're the dominant, don't push yourself to overdo it, because you're going to injure yourself. So, like, I'm gonna kind of make an example out of yoga. I had an instructor who kept wanting to push herself because she was already licensed and certified and everything, but she wanted to impress her teachers and her students at the same time, and she would overstretch herself, and she was trying to do like really hard poses, like inversions. So she's like upside down and handstands and stuff, whatever, like super fancy. Well, one time she was already super tired, and she did an inversion and she hurt her shoulder. So she wasn't able to like stretch with us and perform like yoga practice with us for like 3 to 6 months, which is a really long time. And then if you don't practice something, you start to lose it, right? Well, just because we were in lockdown for over a year, you know, I was still sessioning with some select subs, but I didn't let my practice for this go away. Like, when you guys don't see me on live stream or making videos or, you know, whatever, I don't post this, but I'm in my living room doing this. You know, I'm making sure that I can, you know, keep up my skills, because again, if you don't use them, you lose it, and you don't want to injure yourself or somebody else because you're not maintaining, you're not keeping up that maintenance. So that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make with this. It's like, once you start feeling like, okay, that's enough, you either, you know, take a break from it and come back to it later. And I've done that before, where it's like, or like rock climbing. Rock climbing is another good example, because when I was first starting out, I was super weak. My forearms would burn, but they would grow muscle super fast. It would toughen up and strengthen really fast. And then I started going from once a week, which is like, you're going like 2 to 3 hours at a time. Not consistent climbing, but you're going up, or you're helping another person, your friends, go up. I used to also go like 2 to 3 times a week after that, once I started building, you know, strength back. So I've been doing a little bit of weight training here and there. I'd like to increase that, and that'll actually help with flogging. The power behind it, stretching will help me be more flexible, and I won't pull anything while I'm turning my body, because we use our whole body. If you look at any of my clips, or if you watch this video again later, you'll see that like I'm putting my whole body into it. You shouldn't just be going like working at your wrist like this. That's gonna wear out your wrist. You wanna, you know, make sure that your shoulder is the one that's, you know, guiding it. Your wrist is the one that's angling it. But, you know, unless you're doing a total beat down, you don't need much force, because you already have the momentum going from the implement itself. So, yeah. Okay. Wow, we're already at 54 minutes. So, to close this series out, I guess the next step after that would be like the 3-beat weave. And what that means is that you add an extra beat on each side while you're doing Florentine. So I'm just gonna do it because it's gonna be easier for me to explain while I'm doing it and showing it to everybody. So again, starting with my right hand because I'm right hand dominant, I'm adding an extra loop on each side. And you see how my torso is turning more? That's because I'm staying on each side longer than normal. But if you count it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It takes 6 counts for me to get back to where I am in the beginning. So that's kind of like the next level above Florentining. And this one takes extra precision because you've increased the amount of impact. And then you're also rotating your body more in order to fit those extra hits in. So you really have to be precise on this one. Like, if you have to be precise on the other ones too, but it's easier because you're just facing, you know, in that one direction. But now you have to actually rotate yourself and make sure that you're getting both sides. And of course, like all the other ones, there's also a backwards one of this, a reverse. So, you go up. And that is how you basic flog and how you practice. For actual target practice, like I've used like the back of my chair, just to show you guys really quickly. You know, this is my chair, right? And then, you know, you hit the middle of it. And don't be afraid, like for DOMs, don't be afraid to like lower yourself and like lean into something or lean back from something, or, you know, angle yourself on how it's comfortable for you because you're the one in charge, right? You're not supposed to be uncomfortable while you do this. Your sub can be, but you as DOMs don't have to be uncomfortable. Actually, you shouldn't be uncomfortable because that will, you know, be unsafe. Random driver says, damn, I will surely hit myself trying to do that at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, I did. And the basic thing is like, go slow. Don't try to impress anybody in the first place. You're learning. Go slow and make sure that you're able to learn it properly, you know? And then you can go fast afterwards. Alex says, try not to, random driver. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it so that other people will find out how to flog other people. If you liked it also, you know, just be vocal about my next polls. If I post like what I'm going to do for live streams next week, I'm actually going to have another product review. So it was a collaboration that recently just got, you know, finalized. And yeah, until then, be safe, have fun, keep it kinky, happy Saturday, and I will see you next time.